Hello. Hi. Good morning. Happy Thursday in the Matrix work week. It's October 13th, and I'm Mary Amy, and I'm coming to you live from New York. How's everyone doing today? Did you tune into your heart? What was your first thought of the day? And did you remember any of your dreams that you had last night while sleeping? Well, I'm coming live from New York, and let's see. Well, today in New York, it's pretty lovely outside right now. However, we're supposed to get some rain. I always enjoy rain. Anyone who's joining us, I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. So welcome. Welcome, light workers, star seeds, beings of light, ascended masters, angelic beings. We are in the fifth dimension. We are on New Earth Gaia. This is the fifth dimension, a higher consciousness, expanded awareness. I hope that when you join us, that you write in the chat and tell me where you're coming from. And so today, I was considering what are the topics for today. And sometimes I have them the night before. And sometimes it's early morning. And so we know that I don't post until the morning because of the frequencies and they mess up my Wi-Fi. So today we're going to cover topics like conflict, channeling, extraterrestrial species, and UFOs. Of course, I'll do a visualization and I will touch on angels and share some psychic phenomenon. Have you been investigating and practicing your psychic phenomenon, your clairsenses? Every day we're touching on that a little bit. What's extrasensory perception, ESP, telepathy? We are in telepathy school. We are in Earth school. Now, when we came onto this earth, we all know that we were kind of not really allowed to have all of our feelings and understand our senses. We all have a sixth sense, and you will master that. Now, we're getting a head start. I'm here early on, and what do I mean by that? Well, as all of the beings on earth awaken out of their slumber and they get their memory back. Are you starting to get your memory back? If you're here joining us, you're an awakened soul as well. And that means that you realize that there's another reality. You know, there's the reality that we've been living in, this physical reality, this matrix, this linear thinking, this mind control, this programming. And so we've kind of grown up knowing that there's good and evil. There's a lot of evil. There's a lot of control. There's a lot of telling us how we should think and what we should be and what we should do. A lot of what we should do. A lot of strain on us. Now, we are very, very sacred beings. We're highly advanced beings of light. We're multidimensional. And so we have fragile systems. We have, this physical vessel that we're existing in, and we have our mental, and we have our heart and our spirit. And so we've really kind of undergone like a bit of, I've said that we've been imprisoned, we've had chains on us, and there's been other, strains on our vessels, our beings, and that's about forcing us to be whoever they deem important or the way it should be, who we should be. Hey, Disha, your content is beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you. I know we found each other on one of the social medias. Where are you coming from? I'm in New York. I'm going to write it down because I like to keep note of where everyone's coming from and I can acknowledge that. Where are you coming from? And by the way, I butcher words. So we have really been strained. And what do I mean by that? Well, we've been struggling, and don't deny it. We've had to obey a certain thinking. This is how you should think. Imagine, like, we wake up and Are our thoughts our own? Sometimes I don't know. And I don't know if they're ours because we were told so much from the time we literally were born. We were like little tiny babies born onto this earth, this new earth Gaia incarnated. And we were literally, from the time we were born, we were told by our parents, by family, by friends, because they were programmed. What else do they know? And we were told exactly how to think, exactly the way things should go. And so you wonder if you had permission, to have your own thoughts, what would they be? Well, here's your chance, because here we are. We've awakened. There's beyond 10% now. We're headed to 90%. That's our goal. That's where we're going. We're quantum leaping. We're expanding our awareness to the 5 dimension. Now, yes, there are going to be those that have been living in this physical reality. Now, the spiritual reality, the angelic realm, evil has already left, but it hasn't manifested itself physically yet. It takes time. It's not like this. It doesn't happen like this. It takes time. And so as the 3-dimensional world, the structures and the systems just depart, some of it's going in the dumpster. Some of it will just disappear. It will take on another form. It will go somewhere else where it's wanted. It won't be allowed to harvest our energy anymore. Because when we were told what to do, all of our thoughts were controlled. Because out here we were taught is the most important thing. All the stuff that you have, what you look like, and what you are. Your identity. Your identity has been controlled. You haven't really been given permission to be exactly who you are in the 3-dimensional world, but in the 5-dimensional world, it's heaven on earth. We are all loving each other. There's no divide. It's complete and utter unity. And so what is out there? Well, in the 5th dimension, there's beautiful nature. There's oceans and lakes and bodies of water. There's trees and foliage, and there's birds flying around tweeting. And we are all having fun. We are all enjoying this earth. We've woken up and we've realized it's not a fantasy. There is such a thing as the 5 dimension. Now, is it a place that we're going to go to? Are we going to another location? Heck no. It's right here. It's just your thinking. So as you unlock your mindset and you get rid of that key that's kept you binded and imprisoned in this linear world, you will realize you're allowed to have your own thinking, free thought. And you don't have to wear what everyone else is wearing or do what everyone else is doing. Because the 3rd dimension, the 3-dimensional world, is leaving. Now, I don't know if everyone's going to join us here on the 5th dimension. I don't know that. That's entirely up to them. Everyone's allowed to have their own decision making. Everyone's going to be able to decide if they want to join us here in this new reality. Now, today we're going to cover conflict. And I'm bringing up conflict because it's very evident there's conflict. And I'm seeing a lot of divide, and I'm seeing a lot of crisis. You know, I don't watch the news. I don't know if you do. I watch YouTube videos. I look out into my community. I know I can't control anything out here. I can only control this, my thoughts, my words, and my actions. And so I have balance and I have alignment. I don't go crisis to crisis. Now, yes, I have my own personal life going on and I deal with that. However, I'm not going to implicate all of this stuff that's going on into this world that I'm living in my reality. Because what does that do? That causes conflict. Do you feel that you're in conflict right now? So conflict is a serious disagreement. It's a dispute and a quarrel. It's being incompatible. And it's between individuals, beings, entities, governments, business, states, countries. Conflict can be serious. And why? Because it causes distrust, anger, hate, meanness, and divide. And so conflict is an extended struggle. It's a fight. It's a battle. It's mental struggle. It's in opposition or not compatible. And so this world that we're living in, have you noticed what's going on right now? It's constant conflict. So what does that do to us? Well, I just mentioned that we're fragile beings. And so when conflict comes in, it's like when there's a dispute. Let's say you're in your family setting and it arises some kind of disagreement. How does that make you feel? Are you like, wow, this is fabulous, I'm having a great time? Or are you going, oh my gosh, this is causing me pain. This is just anxiety and stress, and I'm tired from it. It feels a little bit overwhelming at times. Well, when we have this conflict going on out there in the physical reality, and maybe it's partaking in people that we know, or groups, or interests. And it's really a lot of it stoked by ambition, isn't it? Conflict is really kind of about ambition. There are those out there that they want to grab onto all the energy that they can. Why? Why? Don't they have enough within themselves? Apparently not. So they want to get as much as they can. And they are coming from a place of me, 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 me. It's all about me. I want power. I want to own everything. Now, maybe it's that they want to have more money. Maybe it's that they just want to have more wealth, more stuff. Where is this need for more coming from? Aren't they satisfied with what's going on inside of themselves and in their world right here? And let's say their little physical world that they have surrounding them. Isn't that good enough? Why is there this demand for conflict? Well, guess what? Comes from the powers above us, those that want to create divide among us. So what do? They create conflict. So there's opposing forces and ideas and interests, and then there's a disagreement. So people disagree over values, motivations, perception. So this split into parts. And I say we're a whole. I'm coming from a place of, I'm like, let's all just join together and hug each other and love. Because guess what? Life is short, even though I'm saying I'm going to live 204. I don't even think that's long enough. Life is short. It's a bit short in these days, isn't it? And so why do we want to create divide? And why do we want to split into parts and be separated? So there are these two groups that usually come out. So usually it's a divide between two, they divide us and they make two groups. Now we can see it right now politically, can't we? We've always seen it politically. Why can't everyone just join together? Why is everything such a big deal? Because if they create divide, then they have power over us. This has to be something that people realize and expand their awareness. Because are people really that divided? Do they really care that much? Well, some of the issues they care about, and some of it they just like to channel their anxiety into divide. So this debate or conflict among individuals hoping to achieve power, a lot of its activities in government, and it's associated with making decisions. Now, I believe that we can all come together. I don't know if you believe that. I don't know if it's possible in the 3D linear world. Well, heck no, it's not possible. Is it possible in the fifth dimension? Absolutely, because it's all about love and peace. It's about expanding your awareness. You have a higher consciousness. You are a highly advanced being. They didn't tell us this. We are capable of so much more. And so what do? We scrutinize all these little decisions and then we blow it up, and then there's a divide. And maybe it's something that people can focus on, and it's a way for people to actually use their energy. But I believe that there's something more valuable out there than creating divide. So I believe that we should have no politics. I believe there should be no divide, no conflict, because politics just seems like a big circle of stuff. It goes back around, circle, 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 circle. Nothing ever gets really decided. And then they just jump onto another debate. Is it ever getting decided? And then what happens is people say, oh, I'm so tired, I don't care anymore. So really, I feel as though it might be just a way to create divide. So let's rise above that. Let's look from an aerial perspective down at it. What is there to gain? What is there to gain? Are we really gaining anything? It seems like there's just a lot of currency and a lot of cash and a lot of money going out the window. And I don't know where it's going. Is everyone out there who's suffering and struggling okay? And why aren't they okay? Why is there such a demand for conflict? So it undermines our strength. I'm just giving a suggestion. I'm just saying, maybe come from a different perspective. Is it really that important? Does it really matter? And are those leaders that say that they're representing us really representing us? And do they care? I've never met any of them. I don't even know if they're real. Are they real? Are they holograms? Are they clones? Are they shape-shifting reptilians? I don't know. Do you know? Unless you've met them. That's why I say, I can't tell what's going on the other part of this earth. I don't know if it's real because I can't see it myself. If I can't see it, then I don't know if it's real. It makes me question. So there's a new crisis and a new crisis and a new crisis, and we're hurt and we're injured, and then we're just like wasted our energy. And so New Earth is going to be without struggle. There's going to be lack of divide, and we're going to remain unified. And that's the direction. Now, I'm bringing this up because I know our thoughts are very powerful. Now, you're, of course, able to make your own decisions. You have discernment. You can figure this out, but it's about really bringing awareness. So why is there so much conflict? And why, like, I literally don't watch the news, but somehow now there's new stuff coming out, and it's always something else that people are fighting about. And it's usually this guy or this woman or that woman, and these people are fighting, and really nothing is solved. And then we hear about it, and then we make all these opinions and, I don't know, social media posts about it. And then it's just like, is it just talk? I feel like it's all talk and it never gets solved. So consider that conflict, this struggle, this divide that we've been hearing about and that we see is not necessary. That's all I'm putting out there about that. Okay? Because it hurts my heart. I know it must hurt others' heart. And yes, I'm very sensitive. And yes, I am, empathic, but I don't think it's just me. I think a lot more of us are empathic and sensitive. It's just that we've tuned ourselves down. Like I say, the dial, we tuned ourselves down. We've also desensitized ourselves because we've been around it for so long, all this hostility. So let's try to come from a perspective with no divide, and let's just unify and have love in our hearts, and just let's like one another and allow each other to be themselves. Like I say, unconditional love has no time limit. You don't say, well, I'm not going to love you because you said this or did this. Now, if someone's doing something harmful, that's different. I say, okay, you go over there. But unconditional love is you love. You just love. Like I say, when you go to sleep at night, go to sleep thinking of love, be love, because negative forces, dark forces can come into your sleeping state and harm you or bother you or give you a psychic attack. Which kind of brings me on to channeling. And I was asked about channeling, and I did an interview on a channel, a YouTube channel about channeling, and it was with Kevin Moore. And he has hundreds upon hundreds of videos, and he's been doing it for many years, and he has the most world-renowned channelers. So a channeler brings inner wisdom. And a channeler is something like a more up-to-date version of what a gypsy was, or a fortune teller, where they look into a crystal ball. And I guess it's kind of a psychic in a way, a channeler, because they're relaying information that might be past, present, or future. And they are channeling because what they're doing is they're tuning into a frequency, and they are communicating with a spirit, with an angelic being, with someone who's passed, a extraterrestrial. There's some famous channelers out there who have channeled extraterrestrials. And so they're taken over by a spirit for the purpose of communicating. And they give you knowledge of their journey. And anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel and share with me where you're coming from. I'd love to know. And so they give knowledge of their journey. So a channel, you can go into a channeling state. And how do you reach a channeling state? Well, there's definitely classes you can take about channeling, or you can mentor with a channeler. And so a channeler is going to go into a very highly meditative state so that they're able to take themselves and connect and communicate to another being. Maybe it's a spirit, like I said. Maybe it's an angelic being. And that they're receiving information. And so sometimes they take on the person's mannerisms, or the being's mannerisms, or their voice, their pattern of speech. They might articulate differently. They might say and speak differently. They might be talking and using their hands differently than they normally would. So a channeler is a medium. There's famous mediums. Now we've taken on this more present term of channeling. So you're reaching a bridge from a higher realm and a higher consciousness. So you're from your physical being, you're connecting to a higher realm. And in that realm, it's a source. And so that source is sending you information. Now, maybe you're having a conversation. Maybe you're just completely connecting and becoming. They are taking over your physical body, and you are receiving the information. And during a meditation, you can reach beyond this physical realm to a state of higher consciousness. So this information from another source is coming into the channeler. Hey, Raymond, thanks for joining us from Thailand. We have Disha, which I don't know where Disha's coming from, but I know Disha found me on social media because I'm on Twitter, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I also have a website I don't really ever mention. It's maryamyofficial.com. And on that website, I list the books that I've written. I've written a dream journal. I've written a children's book, Earthly and the Gemstones. And he goes on a journey and he collects all these little crystal tumbled gemstones. And I've also written a guide to enlightenment. You can find me, maryamyofficial.com. And I really never bring that up, but I am an intuitive reader. And so I have done events. I've had clients, and I help guide people to their fullest potential. And even maybe it's in their career, maybe it's in their personal life, or maybe it's in relationships. And I do that. You can find all my information on my website. So, channeling. Channeling is inner wisdom. And channeling is a way to convey direct through a channeler communication with a spirit, an entity, a person, a being. And it comes through and allows the person to use their body to receive communication. So maybe when you channel, and are we all capable of this? Probably yes. Just like we all have clear senses. Now, it's really about your ability and how far it can reach. Like I say, we all have clear senses that we are able to master. And there's going to be one talent and one ability that rings very strongly within you. So maybe you are a channeler. And like I said, you can go to International Spiritual News Network, and there's hundreds of videos with channelers. There's one man who's been channeling for over 20 years, an extraterrestrial. And I've watched some of the videos, and he literally takes on a different voice, a different mannerism, and he shares information. There is a channeler on YouTube right now who's very famous, and he is able to also give readings. So take note of that. And if you're interested in any channeling, so a channeler uses their body to receive the communication from another source. And they're an interpreter and they're a translator. So maybe when you channel, so you go into this very deep meditation. And so you're going beyond this physical realm to another realm. And so you might be interpreting some kind of communication, and then it comes through and you speak it out in our words. So it might come from another language and you interpret it and it comes out like you're a translator. It might be most probably in a language that you speak if you're going to channel the information. However, I believe a channeler is able to translate. A true channeler can translate. Now, yesterday when I did the ball of light, I was receiving, because I had clairaudience, I was receiving information. I spoke about it yesterday from a man. It was very unusual. It was very exciting for me, actually, from a man he looked like he was from the 1950s, but he was communicating information about what's going on here in this day. So it kind of made me think, there's the multiverses. Are there other versions of us in other universes? The multiverse? Was he coming from the future, and he is actually the way news is going to look in the future? I don't know. It was black and white what I saw. He was wearing a short sleeve shirt and a tie and glasses, and he looked like an old-time news reporter, or even like someone who's a producer, and he had some kind of frustration, and he was a little bit upset, and he was speaking about the new earth and what was going on, but he was coming from the perspective that he was in the matrix. It was very interesting. So I was channeling that information. So a channeler's interpreter, a translator that receives communication, and maybe it comes through nonverbal, and then you relay it verbally. So basically, a channeler is in an agreement with whoever they're communicating from to relay this information. They have an interest in communicating. So maybe if you go into a deep meditation And so you're very relaxed. You have no doubt. A lot of the same steps that we take when we are doing our psychic phenomenon. It's the same steps. We're going to go into a state of relaxation. We're going to take away any stress in our bodies. We're going to be in this moment, have patience, and you're going to go into a meditative state. And you're not going to make any demands. You're just going to allow your senses to take over. It's not a thinking again. It's not a thinking. We're not thinking. We're not using our reasoning skills, our critical thinking. We're just allowing it to happen. You're having a trusting and a willingness for it to come through. So when you channel, you're going to allow the information, and you're going to, someone, a being, an entity, an angel, an ET, a spirit, if you're open, will try to communicate with you. And so the two of you are going to have an agreement. It's going to be a non-spoken agreement, but it's going to be an agreement that you are going to communicate. And so this begins, and then the channeler receives and interprets what the sender is sending. So an entity, an angel, a communication. So yes, there were gypsies, or in a seance, they'd say, hold my hands and I will communicate with Uncle Jacob or your grandmother. And then they took form, they came in within the person's body. Now, whether or not that was real or not, I don't know. I know that that's what happens during a seance. They're really channeling information. So it's interesting. It's something to kind of observe and kind of follow and see where it's going. So right now, I kind of want to go into the direction of extraterrestrials. Now, I have this book that I bought, and it's by Craig Campasso. And you can get it online, and it is the Extraterrestrial Species Almanac. And there's a lot of information. Like I opened up to Palladians, and that's what a Palladian looks like. I say I'm probably from the star family of Palladians. And so he describes in this book all the different extraterrestrial species, many, many, many species, grays, reptilians, hybrids, Nordics. And he has shared with us a lot of information that he's had. You can find this man online. He's very interesting. And this book is actually translated in many different languages. Look, reptilians. He has about reptilians. So it says here, reptilians evolved on Earth and are known as native reptiles. Their physical characteristics are they stand 6 to 8 feet tall, females 5'8" to 6 feet, and their hides are a blend of dinosaur and lizard. And so they believe service to self. When we speak of service to self, the law of one, Ra, the law of one. There's service to self, me. That's what reptilians believe. And then there's service to others, which is what Palladians are all about. Now, extraterrestrial species and UFOs. I don't know if you have ever had an extraterrestrial experience or encounter, or a UFO experience or encounter. And we've heard about this. And there's many reasons today why I'm bringing this up, and I'm going to get into that. So an extraterrestrial is considered something that comes from outside of the Earth, from outside of this atmosphere. And so we've known it to be what's called an extraterrestrial. And so they're highly intelligent, highly advanced. Now, this is a cartoon picture. This is many different types of extraterrestrials here, all in this one photo. And extraterrestrials are highly advanced. Now, some come from a place of peace, They want peace. And some come from a place of evil and they want to harm us. And so an extraterrestrial comes from beyond our Milky Way, beyond our galaxy, light years away, beyond the planet Earth, somewhere else. They're existing. And so, are there such things as extraterrestrials? I don't know if you believe in extraterrestrials. Now, I've said to you, my belief system is I have to see it with my own eyes. Now, I've spoken about during my lucid dreams, before, after I fall asleep at night, I've received communications, telepathic communications from different types of extraterrestrials. So I find this fascinating and I'm drawn to this information. So there are different kinds of species like grays, which this is the look of a gray alien. I don't know extraterrestrial if you've ever. Reptilians wear jumpsuits. Hey, Joe Hollywood, thanks for joining us from Colorado Springs. Thank you. I hope you liked the video today. We have Raymond from Thailand and Disha. I don't know where Disha's coming from. So grays are kind of symbolic of the 1950s. There's a lot of films that they made with gray aliens, and they're from Roswell, the Roswell crash. And the Roswell crash took place in Roswell, New Mexico. I don't know if anyone knows about this. So they said they saw a flying saucer and it was captured. And there was 3 gray aliens, 3 alive and 1 that passed. 3 gray aliens that were passed and 1 that was alive. And the live one was taken to to an Air Force base. And then the Area 51, all the debris. Now, that's kind of what we know about. You know, we haven't really been shared much information about extraterrestrials. And so have they existed? Well, you can look in Renaissance paintings and you can see little spaceships in Renaissance paintings. And so these spaceships look like discs, right? They look like discs like this. And they might be in the top of the painting. And there's even been cave drawings with, it looks like UFOs, unidentified flying objects. And they appear in, if you look online, there's called MUFON. And MUFON is a source that you can go to, MUFON.com. And you can go to MUFON if you would like to see encounters. People post videos, at least 3 a day, all over the continent, all over the planet. You can see different posts of UFOs. Now, do UFOs exist? Do extraterrestrial exist? Well, that's entirely up to what you believe. So UFOs appear to possess aerodynamic capabilities for currently known aircraft technology, and they're able to travel underwater. And so they have what's called, there's different types of, here's one that was on a radar from a pilot. You can see that, right? And we can see that there's what's called these unidentified submerged objects, and they can go underwater. And so they can go underwater, they can go in the sky, they can spontaneously disappear. And so that now in the military, they're naming some 5 observables. Now, do I believe everything coming through in the military? Absolutely not, because there's secret space programs. Now, this, I believe, is one of ours. It's a black triangle. This, I don't know what this is, but they say it's anti-gravity lift, sudden instantaneous acceleration, hypersonic velocities without signatures, no vapor, no trails, no sonic booms. And there's low observability or cloaking, clear radar. And then they have trans-medium travel, so they can go underneath the ocean. They can go 2 times the speed of nuclear submarines. Now, the reason I'm kind of bringing this up right now is because there's a lot going on out there about nuclear war. And they're speaking about how, maybe there's going to be a World War III. And so I wonder if, in the past, I don't know if you're aware of this, there's been records of, I'm trying to find that actual spacecraft. There's been records of UFOs. Is it like this? Like this. UFOs turning off nuclear capabilities. I don't know if anyone else has heard of this before. And so they're able to disable nuclear armed missiles. So I say to myself, should we worry about a nuclear war? And I'm not really worried about a nuclear war because I believe that a lot of this falls back under conflict. It falls back under crisis. When I spoke about crisis earlier on today, this serious disagreement, these groups are divided. It's really just creating more worry and fear. I'm not really worried about a nuclear war. But if we were going to say in the past, there's a famous case in March 16th, 1967, a UFO deactivated an entire U.S. nuclear missile in their silos. I don't know if you've ever heard of this. And the nuclear launch officer, Lieutenant Robert Salas, wrote a book about it. And you can read about it. And he said there was strange lights and they were flying around. There was one red light. And then all 10 of the missiles were given a no-go signal and they were disabled, an entire fleet. Hi, Hamano. Yes, we're speaking of UFOs today. And so they couldn't find any physical damage or an explanation. Now, what is that telling us? UFOs come in peace. Now, there are extraterrestrials that I believe do not come in peace. And who mentioned that? Joe Hollywood spoke about reptilians. So reptilians are known as shapeshifters. And they say that some of the elite on this planet Earth are reptilians. And they've taken on a human form. And they are in positions of power. And so, let me pull up from this book that I'm mentioning today about reptilians. So reptilians are known. Let me see if I can find that page that I just happened to open up to. Reptilians. So reptilians, I'll tell you their characteristics. Reptilians have draconian box-shaped crafts for technology. They're malevolent. They are I believe that reptilians are in positions of power to harvest our energy and control us. And they are here to create divide. They are here to program us into fear. And they are on the more negative side. Now, I've had communications with some reptilians where they communicated with me. They showed themselves, and a few of them showed themselves to be evil. And some of them also showed themselves to be more benevolent. They look more like the ones in the movie Jupiter Ascending. Oh, I'll have to look at that. I don't know if I've seen that. Yeah, I mean, this actually, I mean, what is this? Is this a cartoon? Is this a monster looking being? I'm not quite sure, but they're more like, I've seen ones with really odd shaped heads, like they're dinosaurs. Like they have kind of like a weapon inside their heads. That's the shape. It's coming out like a triangle coming out of their head. This, I believe, is supposed to be a reptilian. This one right here, and then this one. So be aware of reptilians. And now some extraterrestrials are known, like these are known as Palladians. They look a little bit more glossy. They come in peace, service to others, and they take on the form. They're known also as Nordic aliens, and they a lot of time have very fair skin, fair coloring, fair hair, blonde, blue-eyed, go figure, and they're supposedly tall as well. So a lot of these extraterrestrials, insectoid. You all have a lot of information about extraterrestrials, don't you? Like this looks like this is supposed to be a Palladian or a Nordic alien as well. So I don't know. It's something to actually consider, be aware of. Here's one. This is supposed to be a tall white alien. I don't know if anyone's seen. So are you receiving any kind of communications from aliens? Now, are aliens flying the flying saucers? Are they manning the flying saucers? Have you ever been inside a craft, seen the inside of a UFO? Have you had any extraterrestrial experiences or UFO experiences? Share with us. We'd love to know. Here's another picture. So this, I guess, would say is I don't think that that's a gray alien. That looks like some other kind of alien. I'm not really sure what kind of alien that is, or extraterrestrial. I say alien, it's a little confusing. I should just say extraterrestrial. This looks like a gray alien, doesn't it? And so gray aliens are known from Roswell. And I've actually had gray aliens communicate with me or come through in my lucid dreams, but they had big green eyes. Well, the leader had big green eyes. So this looks more like a caricature, I guess you could say. Mono, yes, aliens. So here we are. So I'm not worried about a nuclear war because I believe that the extraterrestrials will shut down all of our nuclear armed capability and we will be safe. So I'm not coming from a place of crisis or fear. I'm saying, let's have heaven on earth and let's bring angels into our world. So let's ask for angels. Angels are beings of light. They come from the heavens to earth. There's angel portals all over the earth. They come from an angelic realm and they connect here. They're ascending and descending on a staircase to our physical reality. You may ask for angels to come into your life. We all have at least 2 guardian angels with us from the time that we are born. Now, if you're going through a difficult time, maybe you would like to ask for an angel to come into your presence. Maybe you feel a brush across your face. You sense there's a being around you. Something divine has touched your soul, your heart. So they're here to protect us. They're here to protect humanity. They're here to be messengers, guardians, to protect us. Now, they say that there's tens of thousands upon millions traveling from the heavens to earth. Has an angel touched your heart? I speak of having dreams of angels. Ask angels to come into your existence. Ooh, something's giving me a headache right now. It's trying to prevent me from speaking of angels. So I've spoken about my third eye, my mind's eye, my third eye chakra, and it being activated. And I can see, and I've seen Archangel Michael. Have you had any contact with any archangels or seen them? Maybe you've had a dream. Maybe you've had a vision. Angels are here, and they're beings of light, and they've been fighting. They're warriors. They've been fighting evil, and we are now in a place we're going to have more light on the earth, and that's why we are awakening, because of angels and how much they've benefited our world here, our physical reality. Now, they're celestial beings of light. Now, we see them in fine arts with wings and halos. Maybe you see sparks. Maybe you encounter numbers like 111, 222, and they all have meaning. They all have meaning for angel numbers. Maybe you see a coin on the street and you pick it up, or a feather, and it means that there's an angel present. You might feel a tingling on the top of your head. They are present. They are around. There's angel portals all around the earth. They're a spherical opening, and angels descend and ascend on a staircase, and they travel from the heavens to earth. They're an opening on earth, and they stay open forever. So I believe we're all doing very well. So let's move on to psychic phenomenon before we are, off today, moving on today, because tomorrow's Friday in the Matrix work week. So have you had any dreams that you can remember? Are you writing them down? Did you start a dream journal? Do you have a dream journal that you jot down all of your dreams from the night before? Because dreams can guide us, and they can give us warnings, premonitions. I speak of premonitions, and they can guide us to our destiny more quickly. Now, do you have a destiny? Do you see where you're going? What are your 5 humongous goals? Let's begin to check off our list of our 5 humongous goals. Where are we headed together? Or on your own, where are you going? Do you see where you're going? Let's make a quantum leap to your destiny. It's possible. Anything is possible. Thoughts are a vibration, and they create this physical reality. So if you wake up and your first thought is, it's an awful day, I don't want to get up, that is your vibration. That is what you're putting out there. So for the next 2 weeks, it's kind of going to be negative for the next 2 weeks. So let's come. I only dream of girls and love. Oh, okay. All right. Well, that's positive. You want love. Maybe, are you looking for your twin flame, Hamano? Your twin flame? When it's said that you are a part of a whole, and the soul's divided. And so as you ascend to a higher consciousness, you become in need of searching for your twin flame. So the twin flame is divine masculine and divine feminine. And when you find each other, you begin to challenge each other. You begin to encounter all of your issues and all of your traumas, and you have to get through them and your fears. And so your twin flame, it might not be a forever relationship, but it's very significant. And when you're around them, you feel like you're home. You feel very compatible. You have an instant understanding and a communication with each other. Actually, my girlfriend was kidnapped by a UFO when she was young. Really? Your girlfriend was kidnapped by a UFO. So obviously she was returned. So does she remember the experience? She had a UFO encounter. That's very unbelievable. I've spoken to many people who've had UFO encounters. She's still scared by them today. So what was it? Was it a gray alien? I've heard that it was a lot of gray aliens back in the day. I don't believe that it's still going on now. UFO abductions. There's a very famous case of a UFO abduction. And I know I'm trying to remember who it is. It's this couple. It was in the 1950s, and they were traveling back from their honeymoon, and they saw lights in the sky, and then the UFO followed them, and then they have memory loss, lack of memory. Hi, who's that? Hi, love your videos. Who is that? Ms. Garita. Another fall. I love this. I hope you like the videos and subscribe to the channel. I'm running out of room on this. Where are you coming from? Thanks for joining us. Oh, I love you too. I got to write this down because I can look at the chat though. You're from Texas. Hi, Liliana. Hi. So thank you. And I'm from New York. Wow, it's really international today. We have Colorado Springs. We have Thailand. We have New York. We have Texas. Well, thank you. Yes, so this famous alien abduction, this couple, it was a thank you for being here. And then Transylvania, Hermanos from Transylvania. Raymond is from Thailand. That's right, Transylvania in Europe. Oh my goodness, it's super international today. Well, thanks everyone. So this very infamous case, and there was an alien abduction, and they even wrote books about it, and they did lectures about it, and they were just normal people. I think she was a social worker and he worked for a business, and they were coming back from their honeymoon, and then they have lack of memory. They don't remember what happened. There's a time, there's a bunch of hours that they can't account for. And gosh, I wish I could remember their names, but it doesn't really matter. The story is there. And so they actually say those who have been abducted or had an encounter with a spacecraft, back then the radiation was so strong that they didn't live much longer than 2 to 5 years. However, there's been many people that have encountered that and lived. So I don't know what it is. It might be just the shock to the system. And so they say that they had been experimented on. And Betty and Barney, thank you, Joe Hollywood. There, Betty and Barney Hill. There's the thank you. Thank you, Joe Hollywood. You came through for me. And I even have one of their books. So I don't know why. I guess I haven't spoken about it for a long time. But they say that, here is actually some kind of debris that came from, they say, one of the UFOs that crashed. And also, I have some pictures I'll share with you unrelated to the Betty and Barney, which I'll go back to that. Here is allegedly they were doing an autopsy, and this is supposedly a alien. And this is Boyd Bushman, a Texas man, and he worked for Lockheed Martin, and he had pictures. This was on, before he passed away, he said that he worked at Area 51. He was an engineer for Texas Instruments, and here are pictures that he had of an alien, which looks very, very small. Well, the head looks, that's a hand, so I guess that's how big it is. So it's interesting. So Betty and Barney Hill had this UFO alien encounter, and the woman, the wife, Betty, actually passed away. No, she lived. The husband, Barney, passed away. I think it was not maybe 5 years after, and then she went on and she gave lectures for many years. You can Google her, Betty Hill. Now, there was a lot of psychologists and therapists and psychiatrists trying to denounce any UFO abductions, saying that it wasn't true, saying that they made it up, saying that they were having some kind of mental disorder. And it was very negative for those who had these experiences, because it put them under um, a place of being, oh, that's a hoax, oh, that's made up, and non-validating. So I don't think that that's fair. I think we all have to allow everyone to have their own experiences and memories, and if that's the case for them, then that's the case. It's very personal. These are all very personal experiences. Like I say, when I've had communications, right, when I've had communications and I've had beings come through, like, I've had communications and beings come through that look like this. And if someone's going to tell me it didn't happen, that's entirely up to them. However, it happened to me. Or something like this that came through. Now, maybe you've had that experience. Maybe you haven't. Maybe you will. But I don't believe we should have any fear. I think that if anything comes through, what I've experienced is, for the most part, they're peaceful beings, these extraterrestrials. They're peaceful. They're not negative. They come in peace. They're trying to bring awareness. And I've also been talking about it. So I guess that they make their presence known. And yes, there are those out there that are evil. There's like the reptilians, the draconians, some of the grays are evil. And so if you come into contact with any of those, send them light and they will leave. That's what I do. Send them love. I say, I'm wrapping love around you. In my mind, telepathically, I say, I'm sending love around you. You can't harm me. I don't even say you can't harm me. I just say I'm sending love. So let's get into some psychic phenomenon. Now, I've mentioned that you can find my website, maryamyofficial.com. I don't usually mention that, but I've been told I need to mention that from time to time. I'm an intuitive. I do readings, and I'm also a healer. I'm a Reiki master. I'm an ordained minister, and I'm an author. So you can find me on Mary Amy Official. Okay, that's my little commercial. So I'm a healer, I'm a guide, and I bring you to your truest potential, like I do here on Living in the Light. We're all about shifting away darkness, guiding you to your truest potential, and cracking open the beautiful glowing light in your heart. So let's get on to psychic phenomenon. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Tell me where you're coming from. We have an assortment of people here today, beings of light, extraordinary beings of light. We're sacred beings of light. We all are highly advanced, whether we realize it or not. We have Raymond from Thailand. We have Joe Hollywood from Colorado Springs. We have, let's see, her name is, Linnea from Texas. I got to write your name down so I have it. Liliana. That's a pretty name, Liliana. We have Liliana from Texas. So everyone who's joining us, please like in the video, like in the chat, and tell me where you're from, or give some kind of input. So our psychic phenomenon, what is that? Thank you to you too. You're awesome for being here. So the more that we bring us together, the more light will come onto the earth, more will become awakened. We'll reach the 90%. And when we reach the 90%, all of the matrix is in the trash, in the dumpster. And I say, let's release. Hey, Tommy from the country. I thought it was you. I had a feeling it was you. You always come in around the same time. Hi, welcome to Living in the Light. I'm Mary Amy. Glad you're here. So if we would like to reach some psychic phenomenon, which might be telepathy, which might be channeling, as we spoke of earlier, which you're gaining inner wisdom, you're communicating from another source, you've had an agreement with an entity, a being, a spirit, and you've agreed that you're going to communicate. We must have complete relaxation. Now, I say when we do in this moment, we do this quickly. I say, relax. The more you relax, the more you have stress leave your body. You take away any doubt. You have peace within you, a calmness. The more information you will receive, the more impressions will come through. So we want to have complete relaxation for any kind of telepathy that we are doing, any mind to mind. Because when we relax ourselves, our physical being, our physical body, our vessel, our mind, all of our energies, it's unblocking any kind of information coming through to us. So our impressions might come through. When we say impression, what does that mean? That's a sensation. That's a sound. That's a feeling. That might be a thought. You know it's a thought. It's a knowing coming from another source. So as we receive these impressions, it might come through as a symbol. You might see an animal. You might see a number, a word, a sentence. You might hear a whole sentence. So there's a lot to impressions. So let's be aware of the difference between our thoughts and another source and those thoughts. So when we learn to decipher this, we're getting more knowledge and more awareness, and we'll be able to do this better. We'll improve on our psychic phenomenon. So we have complete relaxation. Now, maybe you need to lay down for complete relaxation. Maybe you can do it sitting up. I've been doing this a really, really long time. So I can tune into something. Like I did yesterday, I tuned into that man that I heard from another realm. I don't know if it was past or the future. Are you capable of doing it? 1,000,000%. Anything is possible. So we might begin to get warning premonitions. And the warning premonitions might come through as a 1-second view of something. It might be giving you information in 1 second. So it's a thought. Now it's whether or not you listen to it, whether or not you say, oh, that was nothing. Everything you receive has value for you. So know that. So if you're receiving an impression, it's because you're a certain vibration, a certain frequency. Be aware. Hey, Deanna, that's me. LOL, asking you about channeling. Yes, Deanna, I spoke about channeling earlier in this video. So if you recap, I'll speak about a medium. Being a medium, a person is taken over by a spirit for purpose of communication. I spoke of channeling. So it's a bridge to a higher realm, from the higher realm to the physical realm. So if you recap after this is over, you're going to get all about channeling. And so it's information from another source to the channeler. So yes, we can channel. We are capable of receiving information. Now, when I say to you, all the impressions that you're receiving are so valuable. So maybe as we're doing this and as we're learning about this, you maybe take a little pad of paper and you carry it with you, and throughout the day, maybe you'll receive an impression. So let's say you're doing a task. Let's say you're at your job. Let's say you're washing the dishes. Let's say you're in the middle of a television show, or you're speaking to someone, and out of the blue, you receive something. Maybe a sensation, maybe a flash of information. Maybe it's a location that you receive. Maybe you hear a voice from another source. Write it down, because it's a clue for you. It's a message. And I'm saying this because if you're on a certain frequency, like I'm on a certain frequency right now with you. 2 weeks ago, I saw a portal in my living room. What? Wow, that's amazing. So Liliana from Texas saw a portal in her living room. Well, what did it look like? Was it round? How big was it? And what did you do? Did you go to the portal? So you saw a portal in your living room. How cool is that? Were your eyes open or closed? Did you sense it? What was the impressions you received? Is it still there? So out of the blue, you might receive information. You will receive. Now, like I said, I'm going to go back to this over and over. Yes, it was round like a spiral. It wasn't too big. Wow. Very, very cool. That's exciting. I believe that I'm a portal for light. I believe I'm a portal for angelic influence. And I used to take this walk. And on this walk, it was very evident that there was angels that were visiting. So I believe it was by a church. There must have been an angel portal right by this church. It's still there, obviously. So an angel portal remains open. So throughout your day, as you begin to open up your senses, which means that you're allowing your hearing beyond the walls of the room, you're testing your taste, your smell, your feeling, you're spending more time in your heart. You will begin, the more time you spend in your heart, the more time you spend in love, compassion, forgiveness, the more influx of information you're going to receive. Now, we are all operating on our own frequency, which means we are going to attract, in this physical realm, you are going to attract certain people, certain beings, certain instances and circumstances. You will be drawn to, and those will be drawn to you because you are a certain frequency. You carry a certain energy. And you will be attracted to certain situations and opportunities, and it will be attracted to you. So whatever is attracted to you, take note, write it down in your pad of paper, because it's meant for you. Now, when you operate on a certain frequency, like we are all right now operating on the same frequency. If you're here with us in this chat right now, on this video, you are operating on the same frequency as me. If what I'm saying to you, you're understanding. Now, there are those that are just joining us, the late time arrivals, the newcomers, who are just gaining an understanding of what an awakening is, another reality, all of this conversation that we're having. And there's plenty of room, and people are going to come out of their dreamlike state. Their memories are going to come back online. And then more of us are going to be operating on the same frequency in the 5 dimension. So the flow is coming through you, and there's nothing preventing you from your thoughts and your words and your actions from flowing out of you. And you're going to be on the same frequency. So we are going to receive little hunches. They say little hunches. And so you need to listen to it. Now we're taking our thoughts out of it. Now you might receive a premonition or a warning, and it's not negative. It might just be for you to be aware of something. And if you don't pay attention, I guarantee you, either that day or the very next day, someone that has nothing to do with you or that subject is going to mention it to you, because it's been happening to me a lot lately. And so I'm saying to you, if you don't pay attention to the little warnings, someone else is going to remind you. So again, for telepathy, mind to mind. Now you can go mind to mind with someone, and you can sit before them. They can sit in front of you. They can sit there, and you can go into a relaxation state. They go into a relaxation state. And together, one of you is going to be the receiver, and one of you is going to be the sender of information. So how do you do that? You're going to speak to the person through your mind over and over, telling a story. And then the receiver is going to have paper and write down all the information that they have. Now, at first, it's going to be, it's going to be trial and error. It's practice. And also, you have to know, automatically, you're going to go to thoughts. So you want to take any thoughts about it. You're just going to tune into what impressions you're receiving. Are you hearing something? Are you hearing the story? Are you seeing a location? Because you're not sure, you don't know what the person is sending you, what information. So that's telepathy, right? Now, again, we're going to receive warnings and premonitions. The more that we come online with all of our senses, the more information we're going to just instantly receive. So you might be in the middle of a conversation with someone and information go right into your head. Write it down on your pad of paper. Say, excuse me, got to write this down. And so maybe it's going to be a suggestion to be warned of. Maybe it's going to be trouble, but maybe it's just going to be, you should be doing this, or you should go to that location. There's going to be information. Now, the impressions that you receive might not be about you. They might be correct, but they might not be about you. So in other words, if you're around someone and you receive information, it might not be about you. It might be information you're receiving about their life. So be aware, as you open up all of your senses, there's a lot of frequencies out there, a lot of energies. You're going to receive all those energies. We say, turn the dial if you need to, all the way up or all the way down. I'm turning it all the way up. I'm turning it all the way down. Anyone who's joining us, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Okay, so Liliana, what did you write? Okay, so Liliana saw a portal in her living room 2 weeks ago. And she said it was round and spiral. If you look at the chat, she wrote about it. She ignored it, but I spoke to a psychic and she said that it was a neutral energy and it wasn't a bad one, but I definitely cleared just in case. Yes, this has been happening to me too. Interesting. So a portal came through. Now, we can have, during our sleeping state, we can reach another realm and we can have an influx of energies come through to us, positive or negative. That's why I say we all have a silver cord that's attached to our chakras. That's our life thread. And before we go to sleep, let's be in love, love, love to protect ourselves. I've also been mentioning it's very important what we say, our words that come out of our mouth, because everything has a vibration. So if you go around saying a lot of low vibrational words, like, oh, I hate that person, or oh, that's terrible, or, something that's negative, it's not good for you. You're getting yourself in a place of vulnerability, because what will happen? Any of the negative dark forces that are left on the earth will immediately be attracted to you and glob onto you. And then you're stuck with that stuff. So you don't want that in your life. So we want to engage with everything within us. If you have something that's bothering you, I'm not saying to deny it. I'm saying deal with it. Get to the other side. When we go through dark night of the soul as we're ascending, which is all of our issues and our traumas, will rise up and we have to look at them. When that happens, it becomes all part of us. There's duality. Look, we've all done things that we're not proud of. We have to accept ourselves and love ourselves. The more that we're in love, the more positivity will come into our life. So our words are very important, just like our thoughts are, and our actions even more so. So be aware of that. It's like we want to have positive affirmations. So maybe you just say words like, if things are going bad for you one day, just say words like light, love, nature. And I'm reminding you also to spend time in nature. I don't know what like the weather's like where you are, but here it's actually not raining. It's supposed to rain today all day. Where's the rain? I don't know. It's supposed to rain today. Tomorrow's supposed to be a beautiful day again, sunny, but it's a beautiful day when it rains to me as well. So, complete relaxation during telepathy or anything related to working on your psychic phenomenon. If you're tuning into sound beyond the walls of the room, you must be in a completely relaxed state to receive any impressions. Now, why is this so important, this psychic phenomenon? Why is telepathy important? Because it's really who we are. As we gain more knowledge about that, more of our personality comes online, more of our skills come online. Life is just easier. We begin to find our purpose and our mission. We have more joy in our heart. And all of this kind of comes together. We realize, I spoke about early on in this video about conflict and divide. We start to realize that we are all connected. And let's all wish good things for other people. So ESP is simply guidance. We're simply in guidance. So let's do the ball of light before we go today. Let's rub our hands together. Has anybody else been doing this with me? We're rubbing our hands together. We're taking it away from our body. Now, do you have a feeling on your hands, on your palm of your hands, of vibration, a vibrational feel? Do you feel like it feels like little zaps of energy? Because it is a ball of energy, right? And so if you want, you can make a ball of light like this. So we're doing this, we're going to expand our senses. We're going to expand our willingness to believe anything is possible. And so we're going to do this, and we're going to bring light onto the earth and this physical reality. And that's why we do this. And then we've tried different ways of tuning into this ball of light. And maybe it is just that you're feeling the ball of light in your palms. And what is that light? So maybe we close our eyes. And what does this ball of light feel like to us? So to me, it feels like it's expressing itself on my palms, and it just feels like little zaps of energy. And so what can we do with this ball of light? Well, we can bring more light onto this earth and create the 5 dimension, right? We can use it to see in the future. Maybe it's like a crystal ball, right? Our ball of light is like a crystal ball. We can see into the future. So maybe we can ask it questions. Remember that ball when we were a kid, you'd shake it up and you'd look at it and it would give you an answer. You'd ask a question. Maybe you want to ask your ball of light a question and see if you receive an impression back. There's a lot we can do with this ball of energy. It brings more concentration and focus. It teaches us about our senses. And we kind of just take away any doubt. So we say, is that silly? No, it's not. Anything is possible. So today, I look in my third eye with this ball of light, and what do I see? But let's go on from that. Let's move on from that. Let's see how it expresses itself in this reality for us. So let's imagine that this ball of light is larger. Let's imagine this ball of light is as big as our being. And so let's visualize in front of us this ball of light. And so it's the size, maybe it's 6 foot big. And so what will you do with this ball of light in front of you? What are you feeling? Do you feel or sense any impressions about the ball of light? Because we want to make it larger. Liliana spoke about how she cleared the portal. She spoke to a psychic and she cleared the portal. And when she cleared the portal, She said it was basically indifferent, and she cleared it. How did she clear it? She probably cleared it with light. So we are teaching ourselves, we're teaching each other about light, about energy. So imagine in front of you this ball of light. It's the size maybe 6 foot by 6 foot. It's round. What is it? What are you seeing when you see this ball of light? Is it like when you blow bubbles and it looks like that? Is it like that? Does it have that texture? Are you receiving any? Are you hearing anything? Are you smelling anything? Are you tasting anything? Are you getting any kind of transmission from the ball of light? So let's see. So if this ball of light is in front of me, it's not this size, it's 6 foot by 6 foot in front of me. What am I receiving from the ball of light? Am I receiving more energy? Probably. I am going to tune in, and what am I receiving from this ball of light if it's 6 foot by 6 foot? I'm actually seeing animals on the other side of the light, the ball of light. What am I hearing? So let's go quiet for a minute and see if we hear anything. If you need to close your eyes. So I'm receiving a very angry person. It's male, and he is angry that this ball of light is taking up too much room in this space. And he is annoyed with me. And he's asking me to take it away. Interesting. So I don't know where this ball of light actually remains in another realm. I don't know where this is, but I guess I transferred it to someplace else. So what did you receive? Did you receive anything during this little exercise that we did? I'm going to put my hands back together. So everyone, it was a joy to be here today. I'll be back again tomorrow at 11. You can I post usually after 9:30 in the morning about what my topics are. If anything you find that resonates with you, I'm so glad we have some new beings of light, sacred beings of light, multidimensional beings joining us today. It was lovely, Liliana. We had Joe Hollywood. We had Tommy from the country. We had Raymond. We had Hamano. We had Deanna. Thank you, from Michigan. And do we have anyone else that I didn't mention? Because I want to mention everybody. Who else did we have? Someone else that I didn't mention? Joe Hollywood, Tommy. That's about who we had today. So everyone, now let's practice our intuitive skills. Let's know that we are capable of so much more than we were ever told. We're highly advanced beings of light. Now, I know some of what I say maybe doesn't resonate with you, and maybe some of what I do you don't really get yet, or you just, whatever it is, I'm just here. I'm a constant that's here. I'm here to give you support. I'm going to tell you that you're worthy, you're lovable. And so let's accept ourselves. Let's tune into our heart, and let's allow ourselves to be whoever we are. And let's be a pack of rebels. Not the rebels that create havoc out there, the rebels that believe there's another reality. So welcome to the 5D. And here we are together. So I'll be back again tomorrow, and I'm going to spin light, and you're in the middle of it, and you're making a wish, good things for you. I'm hoping, and I'm spinning it clockwise and counterclockwise. So let's bring our destiny into this moment, and let's have gratitude for this moment. I hope you spend some time in nature today. I hope you like the video and subscribe to the channel. And everyone be well. Thank you. Bye.